Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. This is the Kevin Jackson Show. And I got to tell you, that World Series game, we have the numbers. We have the numbers. Sundays, Game 5 of the World Series, the last to be played in Houston, and the second longest on record, trounced the NFL. Early indicators have the Astros 13-12 win, taking the number one spot for prime time, averaging a 12.8 overnight rating among households. That's 16% from the comparable Game 5, 16% off from the comparable Game 5 in 2016, but still the second biggest Game 5 since 2003. Easily ranked as the biggest World Series game of 2017 thus far. We'll find out what last night's game did. I'm sure it had some carryover, but wow, what a barn burner. Second biggest game since 2003. Still the second biggest since 2003. Last year's Game 5, which kept Chicago Cubs in the running for the ultimate historic World Series win, averaged an initial 15.3 households rating and early returns. That number translated to 23.6 million viewers, a series best at that point, and an enviable 6.5, 6.7 rating among adults 18 to 49. Everybody goes for that demographic. By the way, quick congratulations to my buddy Sean Hannity for being number one in TV across all demographics. Way to go, Sean. Let's see. 32% more viewers than the NFL is what they say. As for Sunday Night Football, Pittsburgh-Detroit game had little chance of improving on the previous week's performance from the New England Patriots. The game dropped by a 9.4 overnight rating. That's also down significantly from a comparable weekend a year ago. They said, what's particularly incredible about Sunday's World Series game is the stamina of the audience. Even with the bloated runtime, the game ran 5 hours and 17 minutes, stretching well past midnight on the East Coast. Viewership did not drop off after 12 a.m. People stayed watching. Now, there have probably been some pretty exciting games for the NFL. At least that's what I've heard. I haven't watched any, not a single one, not a down. If I see the NFL, it's because I'm in a restaurant and I'm waiting on food and they got it on or whatever. That's the only time I'll see the NFL. I haven't been to a sports bar. I said if I watched anything, and I haven't, I'd go to a sports bar where my it doesn't register. Nielsen doesn't register. I'm determined I'm not doing anything to promote these fools. But this brings me to what I'm calling the Trump effect, and it spells doom for the NFL and ESPN and how all this is playing together. So if you'll indulge me, I think I'll be able to tie it all back together again. My producers are like, man, well, we're going to continue to talk about the NFL. Yes, we are. And Harvey Weinstein and all of it, because I keep telling you guys, it's all intermixed. People want to separate these things. These are not separate. This is leftism in full bloom, on full display. This is a peacock spreading his big old feathers out there going, yeah, look at me, I'm a leftist. I listened to Joy Reid the other day talk about how could you possibly make a connection between Hillary Clinton, Uranium One, Fusion GPS, and the Russians, and we got all this information on Trump. And now they've got their hopes on a dude named Papadopoulos, who I can promise you nobody knew this guy's name a month ago. None of you knew who Papadopoulos was. You'd have to be a hardcore insider to know who Papadopoulos is. And he wore a wire during the Trump meetings and all. Big deal. It wouldn't matter if Papadopoulos had a movie camera and wires and a full film crew behind the scenes and nobody could see. He has no information significant that's going to make Donald Trump or anybody significant to the Trump campaign, they'll put him in prison. Nothing. But meanwhile, the data that can put Hillary Clinton to prison, they ignore. These people are jubilant with Mueller. Wait till the rest of these indictments start to drop. From Mueller, who, if he wants to maintain any level of bipartisanship, he's got to start going after the Clintons. And, of course, Podesta and those guys. There was a hint. Anyway, I want to talk about the Trump effect because the boogeyman in the room for much of Hollywood has been the way cable TV is priced and marketed. Rush Limbaugh alluded to this a while back when he talked about, I don't know what the official name of it is, but they bundle all these different cable services. So you've got your regular TV channels, and then they bundle HBO and Showtime. They'll give you 2 movie channels, and then they give you 15 other channels that you may not watch. Lifetime, TLC, the Oprah Channel, whatever. So they bundle it. And they put it all together with sports stuff, like they'll say the NFL package, blah, blah, blah. So you get all these different things, and they try to map it to where it'll capture all your family to some degree. So there'll be Nickelodeon with the Comedy Channel, with the football, with the sports deal, ESPN, yada yada. And you got all this stuff together, and they sell it as a package. So they say you can have cable package number 1. And that's like 4 movie channels, blah, 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 all these different things. Then, or you can have the cheaper cable package number 2. Fewer movies, fewer this, but they always give you a lot of the crap. They give you a lot of the crap. And in the old days, you could actually say, I just want HBO for $7.95 or where you go directly. But now they bundle it. And I don't know, Limbaugh did a better job of explaining all that, but they bundle it. And HBO gets their cut, the NFL gets their cut, or ESPN gets their cut, whatever. That's how they do it. And they do the same thing, by the way, in colleges and universities. They bundle your classes. I've talked about this. I'm an engineering guy, right? Engineering, computer science, and math are my degrees. Now, you could say, well, Kevin, you need a couple of business classes. Okay, I'll take those, etc. But why do I have to take this, I took a art appreciation class. I'll never forget it. I have no more appreciation for art after the class than I did before. But I had to learn about art, which is, by the way, a very subjective thing. I had a dealer, an art dealer, tell me one time, he says, Kevin, art is subjective. If you like it, you're willing to put a price on it. If enough people are willing to do that, if you can create a buzz, then you can make it have value. He goes, it has no value, only the perceived value. Interesting point. Had a wine guy tell me, Kevin, there's no such thing of wine and, oh, this one is fruity. And he goes, we got all these different things. But he goes, at the end of the day, it's how you like it. Are you willing to pay $50 for a bottle of wine you like versus $3 for one you don't? Because that's what it boils down to. We are often bundling these choices, folks, that liberals force us to bundle because we wouldn't buy it otherwise.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.